Everyone left this alien girl to die except the humans. Lyra lay on the cold ground and tried not to move. Every breath hurt her chest. The sky above her was dark purple, filled with slow clouds and weak light from a dying sun. This planet was not meant for life. It was a border world, used only for mining and emergency stops. Now, it was empty. Hours earlier, ships had filled the sky. Alarms had echoed through the settlement. Enemies were coming, and evacuation was ordered. Lyra remembered the fear in the air, the rush of feet, and the sound of engines warming up. She had tried to stand, but her legs failed her. Her body had always been weak. Her people knew this. She called for help. Her voice was low, dry, and easy to ignore. A group from her species stood nearby. They looked at her, then at the sky. One of them spoke quietly, saying there was no time. Another said she would not survive the journey anyway. They did not sound cruel. They sounded tired and certain. To them, this was logic. The ships lifted off one by one. Dust filled the air. Lyra watched the last ship rise. She raised her hand, but no one looked back. The noise faded, and then there was only wind. That was when she understood. They had left her to die. Time passed in a slow blur. Lyra did not know how long she lay there. The cold grew worse when night came. Her body trembled, then grew numb. She thought of her early life, of training halls and bright cities. She had always been slower than others. Her condition made her different. Her people believed difference was danger. She closed her eyes and waited for the end. But the end did not come. A soft sound reached her ears. At first, she thought it was her mind failing. Then the sound grew clearer. It was a low hum, steady and mechanical. Lyra opened her eyes with effort. A small light moved across the sky. Not fast like the warships. This one moved carefully.
A ship descended in the distance. Lyra's heart raced.
Hope tried to rise, but she pushed it down. Many ships had passed this planet before. Scavengers, traders, patrols. They scanned, saw her species, and left. Some species were avoided in this part of space. Hers was one of them. The ship landed far from the old settlement near broken towers and frozen ground. Its engines powered down. Silence followed. Minutes passed. Nothing happened. Then figures appeared. They were tall, walking upright, moving with steady steps. Their shapes were unfamiliar, but their movements were calm. They wore suits, not armor. Lyra's vision was weak, but she saw enough to know they were not her kind. Humans. She had heard stories. Most species had. Humans were strange. They traveled too far, took too many risks, and helped when it made no sense. Some said they were dangerous. Others said they were foolish. Lyra tried to speak, but only air came out. The humans walked closer. One of them stopped suddenly. A male human raised his hand. His voice came through a device, low and careful. "There is someone there," another voice replied. A female, sharp with concern. Alive. They moved faster. Light shone over Lyra's body. She flinched, weakly raising an arm. The humans did not step back. One of them knelt beside her. He had dark hair and tired eyes. His name was Jack, though she did not know that yet. "Easy," he said softly. Another human scanned her with a tool. This one was named Lucas. His face tightened when he saw the readings. "She's in bad shape." The female human, Claire, crouched near Lyra's head. Her voice was gentle. "We're here. You're not alone." Lyra stared at them. Confusion filled her mind. Why were they here? Why had they landed? Why were they touching her? She tried to warn them. Her people believed her condition was dangerous, that she brought ruin, that staying near her led to death. But her voice failed again. Jack lifted her carefully. He was stronger than he looked. Lyra expected pain, but his movements were slow and controlled. They placed her on a flat support and wrapped her in warmth. Lucas hesitated. "Dark, are we sure about this?" Jack looked at him. She's alive. That's enough. No one argued. Inside the human ship, the air was warm and clean. The lights were soft, not harsh. Lyra's senses struggled to adjust. Machines beeped, but not loudly. Claire stayed close, holding a container near Lyra's mouth. "Drink," she said. The liquid was warm and sweet. Lyra swallowed weakly. Strength returned in small waves. Tears filled her eyes, though she did not understand why. Ethan, another human, stood near the doorway. He watched the sensors.
"We're getting pings."
Others passed through recently. Lucas shook his head, and none of them stopped. Claire looked at Lyra. Why would they leave you?
Lyra turned her face away.
Shame pressed on her chest. Her species valued strength above all else. Those who lacked it were seen as burdens. She forced herself to speak. The words were broken but clear enough. They said I would not last. They said saving me was waste. The room fell quiet. Jack's jaw tightened. Nina, a human who had been silent until now, crossed her arms.
That's messed up.
Lucas exhaled slowly. Galaxy logic. Jack looked at Lyra again. You're safe here. Lyra did not believe him. Safety had always been temporary in her life. The ship lifted off soon after. Through a small window, Lyra saw the planet fade away. She expected regret, fear, or anger from the humans. Instead, they moved with purpose. Claire adjusted equipment. Lucas monitored systems. Jack took the pilot's seat. No one complained. Hours passed. Lyra slept, waking only when pain spiked. Each time, someone was there. Sometimes Claire, sometimes Nina. They spoke to her, even when she did not respond. They explained what they were doing, as if her understanding mattered. Lyra's mind struggled to process this behavior. Among her people, care was earned. Here, it was given. At one point, Lucas reviewed her data again. His face showed worry. Her biology is unstable. Jack nodded.
Can we stabilize her? We can try.
But this condition, it's rare, dangerous. Jack did not look away. Try anyway. Lucas studied him. You know why other species avoid our kind. Jack replied simply, I know why they think they do. The ship continued through silent space. Outside, stars burned cold and distant. Inside, something unfamiliar was happening. For the first time in her life, Lyra was not being measured for worth. She was being treated as someone who mattered, and far behind them, on a dead border world, the place where she was meant to die drifted into darkness, forgotten by everyone except the humans who refused to leave her there. The human ship moved steadily through the empty darkness of space. Lyra lay on a soft bed in the medical area. Machines hummed quietly, and the warm lights made her feel safe in a way she had never felt before. For hours, she had only stared at the ceiling, thinking about the moment her people left her behind. Now, she felt different. There was still fear in her chest, but it was mixed with something new. Curiosity. A soft voice broke the silence. How are you feeling? Claire asked. She sat beside Lyra, holding a small bowl of food. The human smiled gently. Her face was kind and patient, and Lyra felt her stomach tighten at the unfamiliar attention. Lyra tried to answer. Her voice was weak. Hungry, tired, Claire nodded. Good. You're going to eat slowly. We need to make sure your body can handle it. She offered a spoon. The food was strange, warm, soft, and slightly sweet. But Lyra's body accepted it gratefully. She swallowed carefully and then closed her eyes. She had almost forgotten the taste of care. Jack entered the room quietly, holding a tablet. He glanced at the readings and then at Lyra. Her vitals are improving slowly, he said. His voice was calm, firm. There was no panic, no anger at the situation, only focus. Lyra noticed the difference. No one on her planet had looked at her this way. They only saw weakness. Are you? She asked softly. The words barely left her lips. She had to concentrate to speak. We're humans, Jack said. We explore, we help, We protect when we can. My name is Jack. This is Claire, Lucas, Nina, and Ethan. He gestured toward each of them. The others waved or nodded quietly. Humans, Lyra repeated. She had heard about them before. In stories and warnings, humans were strange, unpredictable, and reckless. They were supposed to fight only for themselves. Yet here they were helping her, a stranger, someone from a species they had no reason to save. Yes, Claire said softly. And right now, you're safe. That's all that matters. Lyra blinked slowly. Why help me? No one ever helped me before. Claire hesitated for a moment. Because you're alive, and living is always worth protecting. Lyra stared at her. The words were simple, but they made her chest ache. No one had ever said that to her. No one had cared simply because she was alive. She wanted to speak, but the strength in her throat was gone. She lowered her head and swallowed hard. The ship hummed gently as it moved through space. Outside the windows, stars drifted silently, cold and distant. Lyra could feel the vibrations of the engines, a steady reminder that she was moving away from the planet where everyone had left her. Jack stepped closer. We're going to check the rest of your injuries.
You need to stay calm. We'll be gentle.
He knelt beside her. The machines whirred and scanned her body. The results appeared on his tablet. He frowned. Her condition is rare, Lucas said, leaning over Jack's shoulder. If untreated, she could get worse fast. We need to be careful. Jack nodded. We'll do everything we can. No one gets left behind on my ship. Lyra wanted to speak again, to ask questions, but she only whispered, Why you? Nina, who had been watching quietly, smiled softly. Because no one else would. Someone has to. For hours they worked slowly. They cleaned her wounds, wrapped her broken limbs, and gave her medicine. She flinched at some of the pain, but the humans were patient. No one raised their voice. No one left her side. You don't get many like her, Lucas said quietly to Jack. Her species. They abandon the weak. It's normal. Jack shook his head. Normal doesn't make it right. She deserves a chance. The humans' words, their actions, and their calm focus made Lyra feel something she did not understand. It was hope, faint, small, but growing. She dared to look at them, to watch their faces, and realized they were different from everyone else she had known. They saw life as something to protect, not something to judge. The day passed slowly. Lyra slept and woke, and the humans were always there. Claire talked to her softly, telling stories about their travels and their worlds. Ethan showed her small tools and gadgets explaining what they did. Lucas checked her readings constantly, adjusting medicines and machines. Jack stayed near the helm but came to check on her often, making sure she was safe. Nina moved quietly, always watching, always ready to help. Lyra tried to learn their names, remembering each one. She noticed how they worked together, trusting each other completely. She wondered why her own people never did that. They had abandoned her because she was weak. Humans protected each other, even strangers, even aliens. Hours became days. The ship moved from one star system to another. Each day, Lyra gained a little strength. She could sit up more, lift her head, and even speak in clearer sentences. The humans celebrated small victories, smiling and nodding when she managed a word or a movement. For Lyra, it was strange and confusing. She had never received this kind of encouragement. Her life had been filled with criticism, harsh training, and constant pressure to perform. One evening, as the stars streaked past the window, Claire sat beside her. Lyra, do you trust us? She asked. Lyra hesitated. Trust was hard. It had been broken too many times. But she looked at Claire's face, calm and kind, and the others nearby. She felt warmth she had never felt before. I think so, she said softly. Good, Claire said. Because we're not going to leave you. Not now. Not ever. The words sank into Lyra's heart. Tears came to her eyes, and she tried to hide them, but Claire saw anyway. She gently took Lyra's hand.
It's okay, Claire said. You're safe.
Really safe. That night, Lyra could not sleep easily. Her mind was full of thoughts. She remembered the cold ground, the silence after her people left, the hopeless feeling of being abandoned. She also remembered the humans' voices, their hands, their kindness. She did not understand why they did not fear her, why they did not leave, why they chose to help instead of turning away. The next morning, Jack came to her. "We'll start training you to move again," he said, slowly, step by step. Lyra nodded weakly. She wanted to refuse, but she also wanted to trust them. She realized she had no other choice if she wanted to survive. As the days passed, Lyra learned more about humans. She learned their habits, their routines, and their strange ways of showing care. She noticed they argued sometimes, but never about abandoning someone. She noticed how they laughed and joked, even in danger. They made mistakes, but they always tried to fix them. Slowly, Lyra began to feel a part of something. For the first time in her life, she felt like someone wanted her alive, not because she was useful, but because she was alive. She began to speak more, to respond to the humans, and to ask small questions about their world. Each answer, each explanation, was patient and simple. She felt safe asking, safe speaking, safe being herself. One afternoon, while the ship floated past a gas giant, Lyra asked quietly, "Do humans always help others?" Jack looked at her. He thought for a moment. "Not always, but we try. Life is worth it." Claire nodded. "We help when we can. We protect when it matters. That's what makes us human." Lyra tried to understand. Her species believed life was only worth protecting if it was strong or useful. Humans believed in more than that. They believed in life itself. The idea was strange, almost unbelievable, but comforting. Time on the ship became routine. Lyra learned to walk slowly with assistance. She could eat without help most of the time. She talked more, laughed sometimes, and even helped the humans with small tasks, passing tools or pressing buttons. Each day she grew stronger, and her fear slowly faded. One evening, as the ship passed through a quiet star cluster, Lyra watched the humans. They were busy with their work, talking to each other, checking systems, and making plans. She felt a deep sense of gratitude. They had come to a planet no one else wanted to approach, taken her aboard, and given her life. They had done this without reward, without reason, only because it was right. For the first time, Lyra realized something important. She was not weak. She had been abandoned, yes, but that did not define her. What defined her was surviving. What defined her was the humans who chose to save her. And with that thought, she finally felt hope. Not the small, fragile hope she had felt in the first days, but a stronger, steadier hope. A hope that maybe, just maybe, she could have a future, a place where she belonged, and people who would never leave her behind. The stars outside the windows glimmered quietly. The humans moved around the ship, unaware that they had already changed Lyra's life forever. She lay back on her bed, feeling warmth and care surround her, and for the first time she dared to imagine that she could be more than what her people had said she was. Lyra closed her eyes, listening to the quiet hum of the ship and the soft voices of her human protectors. Somewhere deep in her heart she whispered a promise to herself. She would survive. She would grow strong, and she would never forget the humans who had saved her when everyone else left. The galaxy outside was still dangerous, still full of those who would turn away from weakness, still full of fear and war. But inside the ship, Lyra had learned something new. There were beings who chose life over fear, hope over despair, and kindness over indifference. She would remember that. She would carry it with her, always. And for the first time in her life, Lyra felt truly alive. Lyra slowly learned to move again. At first, she could only sit up for a few minutes. Jack and Claire helped her, supporting her arms and legs. She was afraid to fall, afraid her body would fail her again. Each day they encouraged her, praised small successes, and guided her gently. Even when she stumbled, they did not scold her. They only helped her try again. "You're stronger than you think," Jack said one morning.
Just take your time, Lyra shook her head. I am weak, she whispered.
"My body, it always fails." Claire smiled softly. "Maybe your body is learning. You are not the same as before. You survived. That shows strength." For the first time, Lyra thought about strength differently. Before, it had always meant speed, endurance, and perfection. Now, she began to see strength as something more: survival, courage, and trust. Trusting others, trusting herself. As she trained, the humans shared more about themselves. Ethan told stories of planets filled with strange creatures, deserts with glowing sands, oceans with floating cities. Nina spoke about human families and communities, how they helped each other in difficult times. Lucas explained how human ships worked, how every system had backups, and how teamwork kept them alive. Lyra listened with fascination. She had never met anyone who cared so much about the lives of others. Her species only valued efficiency, usefulness, and obedience. Humans valued life itself. One afternoon, the ship's alarms rang. Bright red lights flashed, and a loud sound echoed through the corridors. Lyra froze, heart racing. The humans did not panic. They moved quickly, each knowing exactly what to do. Jack ran to the helm. Claire grabbed emergency tools. Lucas checked the sensors. Nina organized the equipment, and Ethan prepared for possible boarding. "What is happening?" Lyra asked, her voice trembling. Jack looked at her, calm but serious. "We're being scanned, likely raiders. Stay calm and follow instructions." Lyra's chest tightened. Raiders were dangerous. She had heard stories of humans and aliens being attacked in space, captured, or worse. She wanted to hide, to curl up and stay out of danger. But Claire took her hand. "We are here. We will protect you," Claire said. Her eyes were steady, filled with determination. Lyra felt a small wave of courage.
Maybe, with them, she could survive this too. The raider ships appeared on the main screen.
5 small fast vessels approached at high speed. They were armed and ready to attack. Jack adjusted the shields and engines. Lucas calculated the safest path. Ethan readied defensive systems. Nina coordinated communication signals. The humans worked together with precise timing, like a single organism. Lyra watched, amazed. She had never seen anyone move and think so fast at the same time. And yet, they were protecting her, not themselves first. The raiders fired. The ship shook, alarms blaring. Lyra grabbed onto the bed, eyes wide. Jack called out, "Brace yourself, this will be rough." The humans responded instantly. Shields held, engines shifted, and the raiders' attacks bounced off harmlessly. Lyra felt a strange mix of fear and awe. She realized the humans had planned for this. Every move, every action, every reaction was prepared to keep her alive. During the chaos, one raider ship managed to get close, its weapons aimed directly at the area where Lyra lay. She panicked, pulling back. Claire held her firmly. "Look at me," Claire shouted. "You're safe." "Trust me." Lyra hesitated, then nodded. She watched as Jack maneuvered the ship. Lucas adjusted shields, and Ethan fired defensive pulses. The raiders' attack failed. The ship remained unharmed. "See," Claire said, smiling through the tension. "We've got you." After what felt like hours but was only minutes, the raiders pulled back. They realized the human ship was not easy prey. The alarms quieted, and the lights returned to normal. Lyra collapsed, trembling but alive. Jack knelt beside her. "You did fine. Nothing happened to you?" Lyra shook her head. "They could have killed me." Jack's expression was calm. "And that's why we were ready. We're not leaving anyone behind, not ever." For the first time, Lyra understood fully. Humans were not just strong in battle. They were strong because they chose to protect others, even when it was dangerous, even when no one else cared. They did not abandon anyone. She remembered her people leaving her, and the contrast was clear. Humans acted differently. They acted with courage, even when it meant risk. In the days after the attack, Lyra's training continued. She practiced walking, running short distances, and simple tasks aboard the ship. The humans guided her carefully. They laughed when she stumbled, encouraged her when she succeeded, and never made her feel small. One evening, as the stars passed by in long streaks, Claire asked Lyra to join her in preparing food. It was simple work, cutting vegetables and mixing ingredients, but it was a moment of normalcy. Lyra smiled for the first time in a long while. She realized humans had ways of teaching life, not just survival.
"Do you like humans?" Lyra asked quietly, chopping slowly.
Claire laughed softly. "I do. We are not perfect, but we care. And sometimes that makes all the difference." Lyra nodded slowly. She did not fully understand yet, but she wanted to. She wanted to learn, to be part of this strange, caring species. One morning, Jack called her to the observation deck. He pointed at a distant planet on the view screen. "We will stop here. You need to rest and continue recovery. We will check supplies, and I want you to see new places safely." Lyra watched the planet, feeling a mix of curiosity and nervousness. "Will people be there?" she asked.
Jack shook his head. "Few settlements.
"Mostly nature. It will be safe. Quiet. You can practice walking and learn more about the galaxy." As the ship approached, Lyra noticed the humans preparing carefully. They worked as a team, checking everything twice, ensuring safety. She realized humans did not just care about one another, they planned to care. Every action, every decision, was guided by the choice to protect. On the surface of the planet, Lyra stepped onto soft grass for the first time in years. The wind brushed against her skin. The air smelled clean and fresh. She looked at Jack, Claire, Lucas, Ethan, and Nina. All of them smiled, waiting for her. "Go slowly," Claire said. "You can do this." Lyra lifted her legs carefully. At first, she faltered, but then, step by step, she walked. The humans clapped softly, encouraging her. She felt a strange pride. She had never walked like this freely, never with people cheering her, not judging her. Jack walked beside her. "See, you're moving. Stronger than you think." Lyra smiled faintly. She wanted to tell him she felt safe. She wanted to tell them she trusted them. But words were small. Instead, she walked further, gaining confidence. During the day, she explored the planet with their guidance. Small hills, shallow streams, and wide fields became her classroom. She learned balance, strength, and observation. The humans taught her about safety, nature, and tools, explaining in simple words. She asked questions constantly, and they answered with patience. As night fell, Lyra looked at the sky. Millions of stars shone bright, untouched by war or fear. She thought of her abandoned home planet, cold and silent, and the humans who had saved her. She realized something important. Humans were different. They were not perfect, but they valued life. They acted with courage, even when it was risky. They helped others, not for reward, not for logic, but because it was right. They had shown her that she mattered. Lyra's heart felt full. She wanted to be stronger, to learn more, to repay their kindness. She did not know how yet, but she knew she could try. With humans beside her, she felt hope growing inside. It was not small anymore. It was steady, persistent, and alive. And somewhere deep in her chest, Lyra made a promise. She would survive, not just for herself, but because the humans believed she could. She would grow stronger, learn, and one day, show them that she was not just a weak alien left behind. She was alive, and she would matter. The humans gathered around a small fire later that night. They shared stories, laughed quietly, and reminded each other why they explored, why they helped, and why they protected. Lyra watched, listening, and felt like she belonged. She did not speak much, but she absorbed everything: the warmth, the laughter, the sense of safety. She realized humans were not just protectors. They were teachers of life, guides through darkness, and companions in survival. The galaxy outside was still dangerous. Threats were real. Raiders, hostile species, and the cold emptiness of space waited. But inside this circle of humans, Lyra felt strong. She was learning courage, trust, and care. She was learning to be alive not just in body, but in spirit. And as she lay down to rest that night, she knew the journey was far from over. More dangers, more challenges, and more discoveries awaited. But she also knew one unchanging truth. The humans had saved her. They had chosen life over fear. And because of that choice, Lyra was no longer alone. She had allies, friends, and hope. For the first time, she was ready to face the galaxy not as a weak alien, abandoned and forgotten, but as someone who had been chosen to live, and someone who would survive. Lyra had been traveling with the humans for weeks now. Each day she grew stronger. She could walk longer, run short distances, and even help with simple tasks on the ship. She still had pain sometimes, but the humans were always patient. She realized she had never been treated like this before, never given time, help, or trust. They believed in her when no one else did. One morning, Lucas called everyone to the medical bay. He looked serious. "Her condition is changing," he said, pointing at the readings on the tablet. "We didn't expect this so soon." Jack leaned over, examining the data. "Changing how?" Lucas shrugged. "It's stabilizing in some ways, but some abilities are activating. We need to be careful. It could be dangerous, or it could be useful." Claire knelt beside Lyra. "We're here. We'll manage it." Lyra felt fear rise in her chest. She had always been told her condition was dangerous, that she would bring ruin. Her species had abandoned her because of it. But the humans did not look afraid. They looked determined. "What will happen to me?" Lyra asked softly. Jack met her eyes. "We don't know yet, but we'll stay with you, no matter what." For the next few days, the humans monitored her closely. Small sparks of energy appeared in Lyra's body. Sometimes lights on the ship flickered when she moved. Sometimes machines responded to her presence without being touched. She did not understand it herself. She had never been able to control it before. One afternoon, while the ship passed near an ancient space station, the humans noticed something unusual. The station's systems, long inactive, began to flicker on. Alarms long dormant came to life. Lyra felt a strange pull in her chest. The lights on the ship pulsed softly. The humans watched, surprised. "What's happening?" Claire asked. Lyra looked down at her hands. A faint glow appeared around her fingers. I think it's me," she whispered. "I can feel it." In the station, Jack stepped closer. "You mean you can interact with it?" Lyra nodded slowly, fear and wonder mixed in her eyes.
I think so.
Lucas frowned. This is new. Her species always feared this ability. They thought it was a curse, a danger. Maybe
Maybe they were wrong, Nina spoke softly. We need to guide her carefully.
if she can control it, she could help a lot. The humans decided to let Lyra try. With their guidance, she focused on the energy. The glow grew stronger. Slowly, she extended it toward the station. Panels lit up, doors opened, systems hummed. Lights that had been dark for centuries came alive. Lyra gasped.
I did this? Jack smiled.
You did. We knew there was more to you than anyone else saw. Claire squeezed her hand. Your people left you because they feared you. We see the truth. You can help. As Lyra continued to explore her abilities, a warning came from Lucas at the helm. Incoming ships. A large fleet, heading our way fast. They are hostile. Lyra's chest tightened. She had never faced danger like this before with her powers active. The humans moved quickly, preparing shields and defense systems. Jack called out instructions and the crew followed perfectly. As a team, the fleet approached, weapons ready. They fired at the ship, trying to disable it. Shields flared. The humans worked together, keeping the ship intact. Lyra felt the pull again. Instinctively, she reached toward the energy in the nearby space station. Panels on the station glowed brighter. A pulse of energy shot out, hitting the fleet's ships. Some were disabled instantly, their weapons shut down. "She's helping!" Ethan shouted, smiling despite the danger. Jack nodded. Yes. She's more powerful than they imagined. Lyra felt fear and excitement at the same time. She had been abandoned for her abilities, told she was a curse. Now, she realized they were a gift. With guidance, she could protect others, even humans who had risked everything to save her. The hostile fleet retreated, damaged and surprised. The humans cheered quietly. Lyra looked at them, unsure. Did I do good?" Claire smiled warmly. "You did. You saved us. All of us. Your people left you, but we stayed."
And now, you have shown us your true strength.
Jack rested a hand on her shoulder.
You see, Lyra, power is not something to fear.
It's something to use, wisely and with care.
We knew you could do it.
The ship continued on its journey, but Lyra's life had changed. She was no longer just a weak alien left behind. She was a key part of the crew. Her abilities could save lives, even entire fleets. She felt proud, but also nervous. She still had much to learn, and the galaxy was full of threats. Over the next few days, the humans taught her how to focus her power safely. She practiced controlling energy pulses, guiding systems, and interacting with machines. She learned how to sense danger before it arrived, how to move energy carefully, and how to stay calm in emergencies. One night, while the ship floated near a quiet star cluster, Lyra spoke quietly to Claire. "I never thought I could do this. My people, they were wrong about me." Claire nodded. "Sometimes people are afraid of what they do not understand. They make wrong choices. That's why we help each other. We see the truth." Lyra smiled faintly. "You saved me, even when I was weak."
Jack appeared behind them. "We saved you because you were alive, because life matters."
Not because of strength or ability or value, just because you exist. And now you are proving that even more. Lyra looked out at the stars. For the first time, she felt hope beyond survival. She was learning that she could make a difference. She could protect others. She could be strong in ways her people never imagined. Soon the humans received a signal from an allied fleet. They were under attack, unable to defend themselves. Jack looked at Lyra. "We can help them. Together. Are you ready?" Lyra nodded. Fear still lingered, but so did determination. She had learned from the humans that fear could be faced with courage. She had learned that even someone abandoned and weak could be powerful with support and trust. The ship accelerated toward the Allied fleet. Lyra focused her energy guiding systems and boosting defenses. The humans coordinated perfectly, trusting her abilities and protecting her. Together, they created a shield, blocked attacks, and guided ships to safety. Lyra had never felt so alive. Her body, her mind, her powers, all working together. After the battle, the Allied fleet sent messages of thanks. They had survived because of the humans and the alien girl they saved. Lyra finally understood the full meaning of what Jack had said. Life matters, and protecting it makes heroes.
That night, the humans gathered with Lyra on the observation deck.
Stars stretched endlessly around them. Lyra felt a calm pride. She had been abandoned, left to die. But now, she was part of something bigger. She was not weak. She was a protector, a friend, and a survivor. "You changed everything today," Lucas said quietly. "We could not have done this without you," Lyra shook her head. I only helped because you all trusted me. Without you, I could not. Jack smiled. Then we trusted correctly. Together, we can face anything. As the ship continued through space, Lyra knew the galaxy was still full of danger. There would be more battles, more threats, more challenges, but she also knew she was no longer alone. Humans had saved her, and now she could use her strength to save others. She had learned courage, trust, and hope, and somewhere deep inside, she felt a promise forming. She would never forget what the humans had done. She would never abandon others, never turn away from life, and never let fear decide her actions. She had been left to die once, but now she would live to protect, to fight, and to prove that even the weakest could change the galaxy. Lyra looked out at the endless stars, feeling warmth in her chest. She had been chosen to live. She had been given trust, guidance, and care, and now she was ready to face the galaxy, not as a weak alien, but as someone who mattered, someone who would never again be left behind. The human ship moved steadily through space. Lyra had grown stronger each day. She could walk, run short distances, and use her powers with more control. She still had doubts, but the human's trust gave her courage. She no longer felt weak or abandoned. Jack called a meeting in the ship's control room. "We have received a message from a nearby system," he said. "They are in trouble. Raiders are attacking a settlement. We can help." Lyra's chest tightened. Helping others meant risk. She remembered the humans saving her when everyone else had left. She also remembered the fear she had felt when the first raiders attacked. But she looked at Jack, Claire, Lucas, Nina, and Ethan. They trusted her. She had to trust herself. I will help," she said softly. Her voice trembled, but she meant it. Jack nodded. "Good. Together, we will protect them." As the ship approached the system, sensors showed several raider ships surrounding a small planet. Fires burned on the surface. Smoke rose into the atmosphere. Lyra felt her power stir inside her. She had never felt such a strong connection to something so far away. Instinctively, she extended her energy toward the planet. Systems aboard the raider ships reacted. Their weapons misfired. Their shields weakened.
"She's doing it again!"
Ethan shouted, eyes wide.
"Focus, Lyra!"
Claire called. "Use your control. Guide it carefully." Lyra concentrated. Her glow grew stronger. Waves of energy spread across space, interacting with machines, systems, and controls. Raiders' weapons jammed. Their engines faltered. Some ships spun out of control, unable to aim or fire. Jack directed the human ship with precision. Shields up, engines ready, weapons prepared. Lucas coordinated defensive pulses. Nina monitored communications, warning allies. Ethan assisted Lyra, helping her control her energy bursts. Together, they created a protective field around the settlement and their ship. The raiders tried again, but Lyra anticipated their movements. Her energy flowed naturally now. She guided it calmly, disabling weapons and redirecting their attacks away from the planet and the human ship. The humans followed her lead. They were a team, not separate individuals. Each action built on the next. Finally, the raiders retreated, damaged and confused. The planet was safe. The settlement's people cheered from below. The humans breathed a sigh of relief. Lyra collapsed onto the deck, exhausted but alive. Claire rushed to her side. "You did it, Lyra. You saved them." Jack smiled, placing a hand on her shoulder. "You were amazing. We couldn't have done it without you." Lyra shook her head.
No, you trusted me.
"You saved me first. I only did what I could." Jack looked at her seriously. "Trust is powerful. Courage is powerful. Together we are stronger than any danger." After the battle, Lyra rested. The humans repaired their ship and helped the settlement below. She watched quietly as they worked, amazed at their teamwork. No one complained. No one left anyone behind. They had all risked themselves to save others. Lyra thought of her own species, who had left her alone on a cold planet. The contrast was clear. Humans acted differently. They acted with care, courage, and selflessness. Over the next few days, Lyra continued to train and practice her abilities. She learned to sense energy, control pulses, and interact with systems across distance. The humans guided her patiently. She learned not just to survive, but to protect, to act wisely, and to help others. She felt proud, but also humble. She had been abandoned, left to die, and now she had purpose. One evening, Lyra spoke with Claire quietly. I never thought I could do this. My people, they were wrong about me, Claire smiled. Sometimes people fear what they don't understand. They make wrong choices. That is why we help each other. We see the truth.
Lyra nodded.
She looked at Jack. You saved me, even when I was weak. Jack's expression was calm but kind. We saved you because life matters, not because of strength, ability, or usefulness, just because you exist. Now you are proving your worth through your actions. Soon, the humans received messages from other systems. News of Lyra's abilities and the humans' protection had spread. Other settlements asked for help. Some species had feared her abilities, but seeing humans trust her gave them hope. Humans and aliens alike began to question their old beliefs about her species. Lyra realized something important. She was not just alive because the humans saved her. She was alive to show the galaxy that her species, abandoned and feared, could be more than others imagined. She could help, protect, and survive. She could change minds. She could change history. Jack called a meeting with the crew. We are being asked to assist more systems. This is not a simple rescue. It is a chance to show the galaxy what courage, trust, and life can do. Lyra felt her chest tighten. She looked at the humans. I will help. I will try my best. Claire smiled. We know you will. We trust you. Over the next weeks, Lyra and the humans traveled from system to system, assisting settlements, repelling raiders, and protecting lives. Her powers became stronger, her control sharper. She guided systems, boosted defenses, and helped humans and aliens alike. Everywhere they went, stories spread. Humans had saved an alien abandoned by her own species, and that alien had saved countless others in return. One day, while resting on the ship, Lyra spoke quietly to Jack. Do you think my species will ever understand? Jack thought for a moment. Maybe not all of them. Fear is strong, but some will see. Actions speak louder than words. Your survival, your courage, and our choices together show what is possible. Lyra nodded. She remembered the cold planet where she had been left to die. Down, she remembered fear, pain, and despair. She also remembered the humans who had arrived, their calm determination, and their refusal to leave her. She had been given trust, guidance, and life. Now she had given hope, protection, and strength. One night, as a ship passed a quiet star cluster, Lyra looked at the humans around her. They were talking, laughing quietly, checking systems, and planning the next missions. She felt a warmth inside. For the first time, she felt she belonged. She realized she was not weak. She was alive, capable, and important. I never thought life could be like this, she said softly. Claire placed a hand on her shoulder. Life is not just about surviving. It is about caring, helping, and trusting. You are learning that now. Lyra smiled faintly. And you?
Taught me. Jack stepped beside them.
We all teach each other. You showed us courage, too. We learned from you, just as you learned from us. The galaxy outside was still full of dangers. Hostile fleets, warlords, and unpredictable events waited, but Lyra no longer feared them. She knew that with trust, courage, and cooperation, life could be protected. She had learned that even someone abandoned and weak could rise to protect others. The humans prepared to leave the star cluster. Lyra stood on the observation deck, looking at the stars. She remembered the moment she had been left to die. She remembered the humans who saved her. She realized that because they had stayed, she was alive, strong, and capable of changing the galaxy. She made a promise quietly, to herself and to the humans who had saved her. She would never forget their trust. She would never abandon life. She would never turn away from danger if she could help. She would protect others just as she had been protected. Lyra's thoughts turned to the galaxy. She had been abandoned once. Many still feared her abilities. Some still judged her species. But she now knew the truth. Courage, trust, and care could overcome fear. Her actions and the humans' actions had already changed minds. More would follow. The galaxy would remember that life matters, even for the weakest, even for the abandoned. The humans gathered around her, smiling, discussing the next mission. She looked at each of them. Jack, Claire, Lucas, Nina, Ethan. They had saved her, trusted her, and guided her. She had learned courage, control, and hope. Together, they had saved countless lives. Together, they had proven that even in a galaxy full of fear and danger, life, trust, and courage could shine brighter than hate or neglect. Lyra took a deep breath. She was no longer the weak alien left to die. She was alive. She was strong. She was a protector. She was a symbol of hope. And she would carry that with her through every star, every battle, every life she touched. As the ship moved into the next system, Lyra whispered quietly, almost to herself, "Thank you for saving me. I will not forget. I will live, and I will protect." The humans around her smiled, unaware that their simple choice to stay with an abandoned alien girl had changed the galaxy forever. And far away, the stars shone brightly, witnessing the beginning of a new hope, one born from courage, trust, and the simple choice to help when no one else would. The galaxy had turned its back once. The humans had stayed, and because of that, Lyra lived, and everything would never be the same again.